Good morning, this is Anne-Marie with the All Access Spy Report for Tuesday, August the 6th, 2013. Looking at a little bit of flattening sitting above the VWAP. However, that's a monthly VWAP. And from an hourly perspective, still seeing, a lot more buying than selling, but that is flattening out. Moving averages getting tighter together. Pivots from day to day only a few pennies apart. So what are we looking for? Well, a breach to the upside here comes up above this 170.97 ish region, 170.98, or at the bounce off the pivot area, right? That's 170.58 or so. That's going to give us long action. Stopping events, you probably don't want to have a stop any wider than 170.34 if you take the position here. And if you take the position here, probably want to reduce your holdings in the position if you see it dropping into this area if your position size is large. All right, because if it pops up and then fades without making at least a press to the upside, that's usually a sign of weakness. So we don't have too much of a gap today. We are a little bit down, but it remains to be seen what's going to be done in terms of the charts. If we breach here, we know we can step into this target region here. This one, 171.25, 171.48. You want to choose the midlines between the pivot regions as potential test areas, 171.74, and so on and so forth. These are Woody's pivots. And I've been saying they're person's pivots, but they're not. They're Woody's pivots. And I use them almost exclusively in terms of pivot action. So this is a weekly pivot. That's the daily pivots. These shift every week. These shift every day. All right. So below, what to do below? Well, we've got this pesky wick right here, right? That it doesn't really belong because the real breakdown level is about 170.43, right? We could take it at the loss of the pivot and the weekly VWAP, but you want to be really careful. And if it starts popping around this area, 170.25, you should probably take part of that position off so you're not overly exposed instead of, just leaving it there. But if we lose this level, then we're going to get down into this 170.16. There's a little gap here that needs filling. That's 169.85. Yes. And then here's the weekly pivot colliding with the 50. So my guess is, even if this is a little bit of a breath before we accelerate more to the upside, this is a potential target region that it comes into. Congestion-wise, it's probably a little bit above that, so you want to be cautious. You want to be very cautious right there for the pullback event. Do not anticipate a rollover. I did look at a lot of charts last night. They look exhausted. A lot of them doing this action right here. Just flat out exhausted or pulling back a little bit. In this market, the run's been so high and there's still so many people on the sidelines that a pullback into support is probably going to be met with buyers unless we see something catastrophic in the news lines. All right, so that's it. Good luck anticipating a pullback to here, though the charts still look extremely bullish. I do not anticipate any major rollover, but if the chart does change personality and we do see some breakdowns, then we know we have to adjust. Listen, we can't be stubborn about keeping positions if they continue to do the things they're not supposed to do. For instance, if I have a long and I keep breaking my lows, my job is not to keep lowering my stop, but to reevaluate the direction that I'm going in. If you say, hey, I'm a longer term trader, then that's great. Step into a longer term formation and establish proper support. We can see that here at about 169.84. If the chart fails there, we know it's going to move into the next level of relative congestion. That's going to be somewhere around here, 168.41. Do you really want to keep your long as it does all of that? If you've got, remember the notion of the VWAP, if you're underneath here, you're inclined to sell because most folks are not in the green, they're in the red, right? And so as it pulls back into support, what's the point? Manage around the position. If you feel very good about it, keep a core event, but when it starts pulling back, goodness gracious, leave the size to be smaller and smaller and smaller. You don't want to lose big. You've made big going up. Don't lose big going down, right? Don't be greedy. Think about your risk. Think about conserving and preserving current capital and do the right thing. All right? Good luck trading today.